Hey there, YouTube. Superbrain AK here. Happy New Year. Well, recently I was watching a video from Kaiser Power Electronics, and he was going through all his different meters. And well, while I was messing around with my lead-acid batteries, trying to recover them, these ones I've pretty well recovered. But I was using my clamp meter here, my CM01A from TechLife. It was giving me pretty crazy readings. I was, we were using the clamp and had to keep pressing the 0 button. And turns out the AAAs that it had were pretty much flat, or at least one of them was, which was drawing everything down. So I decided to alleviate that whole voltage droop, and I gave it a lithium cell. That's pretty simple because 3 1.5 cells in series equals 4.5 volts. Well, a single cell lithium is 4.2 down to 3. So yep, so I just put this battery in here. It actually fits perfectly. This is an ENEL19, which was originally a replacement for my S4300 camera, which I used to do all my videos on, which only lasted 8.5 minutes, if that. Yeah. So since I'm not using that camera anymore, I don't need these extra cells. So all I did was pop the little tabs out. That's the positive. Ran a wire through and soldered it directly to the board. And did the same for the negative. Put some electrical tape over those because that's where these terminals are, and just soldered the wires directly to the balance board. I also soldered on this little connector, which you might find in well, I got these from Plantronics headsets. They've got a tiny little lithium cell, or you might find them in like helicopters, tiny little helicopters. But I found these little TP4056 USB chargers, which have the mating connector. These should be swapped because these are, live terminals from the battery, but whatever. It's going to be in a, once I close the lid, it'll never get, anything happen to it. But yeah, figured I'd share that with you. And that, I try to keep all my devices rechargeable at the best rechargeable they can take. For example, my little Fluke 51 here, which I found off the side of the road, last calibrated 312/98. Actually, I've done my own calibration since I bought a random, thermometer. But anyway, open it up here, and it's got one of these EBL 6F22 9 volts, which all these is a 2S lithium cell with a very simple balance board inside. I don't think it does any balancing. They just, hope that it stays in balance since you're not using anything. But yeah, pretty nice meter inside. I've done my own calibration with a ice bath, which it's pretty accurate now. But yeah, I use these 9 volts. I've had 4 of them, and well, they're all used. But yeah, they just have this little charger, which is powered from USB, which has a step-up converter to charge the 2 cells in series. Yeah, I could probably use my TP5100 modules. Got these over here, which I could set to 2S and charge them up, but I've got the charger, so it's easier with the connector and making sure the current's right. But yeah, another project that I built, or getting to some other things that I've done recently. I've got these fans here, which I had just connected on this wire, so they were all powered. I even have the proper connectors for them, stolen from the server motherboards, which I've got a box of. Unfortunately, I only had one of the servers that had these connectors. I've got some more fans that I don't have the connectors for. Oh well, maybe I'll have to find some on eBay or something. But anyway, I had these, just connected with power, and I would, ramp up and down with the voltage. But now, I built the PWM controller for it, which all this is a SGL8022W. Got a couple videos on these now, which is just a pretty simple board. And what I did is, there's the ground in the VCC, and it's got this reverse polarity diode, and it also has this pull-up resistor going to LED positive. And I removed that resistor and that diode, and then all I did was I put a tiny TO92 linear regulator, which is a 78L05, between the diode, the two terminals of the diode, and then brought the ground, for it over to the negative where the capacitor should be. And then just put on a tiny little capacitor. To get the output of this to play nicely, because you can't just connect it to the LED minus, because this is active low, where, to have 100% PWM, you need it high. So when this is high, that is off. But when you turn it on, it goes low, which is inverted. So what I did is, I've got a video about it, but all you need is just a transistor inverting it. So I've got the positive of the pull up, this is just V plus right there, coming from where it used to pull up the diode. And then got 22K resistor going to there, which is actually the LED minus. So that's the base of the transistor. It's just a standard NPN. The collector of the transistor goes to the other pin, which is actually LED positive. And then the emitter goes over here, wraps around the board to these two pins here, which are negative. So yeah. Oh, another upgrade that I did recently. You see this XT60 right here. I've got some 12 gauge wire going directly to my DPS 3012, because I was having some troubles with the connector that it has. It's got this kind of connector which just unplugs. Now it's on right now, so I won't unplug it. But yeah, it's just these removable terminal blocks, and it wasn't doing very good. So I just decided to solder some 12 gauge on straight onto it. So I've just got it set 12 volts, 12 amps, because these fans take some amps. If you wanted to see the model number there, 1.65 amps each. Alright, watch your volumes, because these are very loud. 3, 2, 1, contact. But, as you can see, they're nice and quiet, because this is pulling them low, because that transistor is pulled high. Now, when I touch this, it's going to pull the base of the transistor low, which will let the PWM float high, which these fans have an internal pull-up. Easy. That was 4.5 amps coming from the power supply. 12 volts. But, perfect control. Kind of a low speed. Turn it off. Turn it back on to that low speed. Turn it up. Turn it down. Turn it even lower. Turn it off. I guess it is off. So yeah. That's it for the updates. What I decided to do those fans for is because I've got my load resistors out, just some coffee heater elements, which are 16 ohms put in parallel. Then I've got this random space heater element. Forget what resistance that is. I even have these couple relays which turn on and off a couple of the elements, so I don't have all of them on right away, so I can kind of vary the load. But got that for my 1500 watt boost converter, which I still have the 3000 watt boost converter project that I'm building, but ran into a couple issues with that, so I decided keep it simple, just modify one of them. So I've got my MOSFET driver chip, so yeah. Look forward to seeing that video from me pretty soon. But I think I'm going to stop rambling, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.